when I dropped it, and it guided me to drop it. You know, remove it. Don't care about that. Just see it as an experience and everything. And then I allowed it to happen. So I went up to this man and woman and we started talking. Now he was on a divine frequency. And I brought up the whole communication thing, but this time it only took like 3-4 minutes to get the message across. Hey, you ever notice how life speaks to you? You know, if you think of the terms of, yes, we all are having our conscious conversation right now, but you know that there's a larger mind that guides all of us, like you sustain your body. And I went through the whole thing in like 2 minutes. And the guy was like, uh-huh. As if he already knew. I said, isn't that interesting? And I explained what happened. I said, these were the thoughts going through my mind. Now, I know consciously you were talking about the directions. Let me explain how that was coordinated. And then I saw the chocolate bar with divine on it because I've been talking about the path to the creative spirit and everything. And I said, have you ever noticed that? He said, yes. And I'm like, yes, people are awake to this. And I said to him, man, it's weird at first, isn't it? It took me a while to get a handle on this. He says, yeah. He says, thanks for sharing that. I'm glad you reminded me of that. And I said, you're welcome. And I turned to go get my sandwich. He said, well, thank you. From both ways. And then psychically in my mind, I knew what that meant. What that meant was many things. That's why language doesn't cut it. Thank you from both directions, both ways, from both ends. What does that mean? What did it mean in that moment? Just like when I tell you that a deer can mean many things doing the same thing, depending. What did that mean? That the truth, divine truth, the pure truth, will be seen as truth from both sides of this binary state of good and bad. If it is true, both sides will have to agree that it's true. That's what that meant. And also, even though I appeared to say that to him and remind him, he also played a role in reminding me, coordinated by the Spirit. And he understood that. And he let me know he understood that. So I'm being led to people now that know what I know, at least on some level, or if I tell them, they get it in a matter of minutes. They know it. They're starting to figure this out. You understand? And because it's your collective reality. You're part of something larger. And your state will dictate your experience in it. So if I'm worrying about the demonic focus on me, then my will is placed there, and I give it energy. If I just relax and allow the Creator to do what it does, then it does it. And there I got to assist people, and then it put in my head as I went out of the store, see, when you gave that lady directions, it feels good to help people, doesn't it? Even something that small. That's when you feel the best. Take note of how you feel right now. What just happened? What it was like when I was expressing this with that person and explaining it and having him understand it was like the inverse to an orgasm. An orgasm is the draining of your creative essence. This is like the infusion of it, God filling your cup. And it happens as quickly. It's like these divine moments of knowledge are like the opposite to an orgasm, but the same frequency. Instead of discharging, you're charging. And it made me take notice of that. So do you see how you feel right now? After an orgasm, you're drained. Now how do you feel? You feel alive, don't you? That charged you, didn't it? Interacting and speaking to people as them, as another part of you. At first I was looking at that guy before I talked to him like, he's kind of weird. He could be someone that will try to antagonize me. And then it said, see? You see? Now do you get it? And so I'm driving. And I was thinking, and I came to a four-way stop. And I'm thinking, that really was divine repairing of that situation. All of a sudden this girl in a car opposite of my direction at the four-way stop, you know, directly across from me, suddenly just reaches up and touches her nose. For no reason, just reaches up and touches her nose exactly in response to my thought. It will always speak to you. And it can do that. You see, it didn't really violate her free will. It didn't. It's for the good of the whole. So therefore, making her feel like she needs to touch her nose is good for the whole. And it doesn't really alter her conscious experience while she's driving in her car. And it just all comes together. And then I went and parked in this nature area to eat my sandwich. And I was thinking about the man Christ and what he was saying and how what seems to be happening right now. And I'm thinking, no, is this how? And then the wind just picked up. Whoosh. And I was just thinking, I love the creative spirit. I just love you. I love what you're doing with me. And I'm driving back home, and now I'm seeing people drive past me, and I'm looking at them with appreciation and love. Felt like a kid, you know? I'm looking at them, and I didn't have the poison in my mind. It was like, oh, look at you dressed this way, you dress that way, you're driving this, you think this. Like my old ego used to think when I thought I was intelligent. Now I can just look at people, and I just had this love for them, and then it put into my mind. That's what sustains them. Doesn't matter if they know of you or not. If you look at them and their image and their essence and you love them, that sustains them. Just like negative energy affects people. Love will sustain them. Just by loving them. Because you're a part of something larger. And so now you're an awareness of them, connected to them, and that will affect them. As they're driving down the road, it could trigger a certain thought or whatever, but it sustains their essence. Every time you can look at somebody just for a moment with love, it's like plugging in your rechargeable battery for a moment. It gives them that juice. It gives them the sustaining essence of this whole reality. And it's said again, love my other creations. They are you. It is me in you and in them. If I'm helping you and I'm in them, what does that tell you? Yes, there is a problem right now, but see, the more you focus on me, it said, the essence of love and life, the creative spirit, the more I'll guide you. The more you'll have communication with me. You just needed to open up to it. It's always been there. And it guided me, and it was just wonderful. It's so funny because I know people have experienced this, but they didn't know how to properly explain it to people. And it said, this is the role that you get to play. In your healing, you get to be a healer. You get to play an active role, and I'm happy if you understand this. I'm happy that you explain it. You're not going to be the only one to explain it anyway. So don't put the whole world on your shoulders. You're playing your part. This isn't going to be stopped. You know? I mean, the wind just picked up outside my house right now. I mean, do you think the creative spirit's just like, relax. Relax and follow your path. Learn your lessons. Follow your path. Always be focused on me, and me is the love, the spirit, the sustainer, the creator. And the spirit would speak to me through winds and chirps and birds and agree, yes. Look how much joy you have. I looked around and I was by a lake and the sun was shining off of the lake. And it kind of said, through life, for you. All the people and animals, for you. And to them, you would be part of what I would say to them, for you. You are for everybody and they are for you. You are for everything and it is for you. Appreciate it. So I was walking around slowly, slowly, just, you're not alone, you're so not alone. When you open up like this, you are so not alone. I went and there was this little bridge, you know, about a 8-foot bridge just over this little groove that had water in it because the snow was melting, and there were these 2 ducks there.